Welcome. Today we're going to talk about the causes of erectile dysfunction. But here's the thing, we're going to look at it from a totally different angle. We're going to explore it not just as an issue for the bedroom, but as a potential early warning system for your entire body's health.
So let's just jump right in with a big question, one that might just change how you think about this topic. What if the whole conversation around ED has been way too narrow? What if we need to reframe it completely?
Because what if it's actually one of the very first signals your body sends you about the health of your cardiovascular system? Research shows that ED can actually show up 2, 3, sometimes even 4 years before a major cardiovascular event, like a heart attack. Just let that sink in for a moment.
Okay, let's put a number on this. A major study found that men with erectile dysfunction have a 40% higher risk of developing cardiovascular disease down the road. And that's independent of other risk factors. That is a huge number, and it tells us there's a really powerful connection here that we absolutely cannot ignore.
This brings us right to our first and, honestly, most critical point, the cardiovascular connection. To really get why ED can be a warning sign for heart disease, you first have to understand that an erection is, at its core, a vascular event. It is all about blood flow.
So, how does it work? Well, it all starts with a signal from the brain. Nerves tell the arteries in the penis to relax and open wide, allowing blood to just rush into these two sponge-like chambers. As those chambers fill up, the pressure traps the blood inside, and that's what creates the firmness of an erection. It's a really complex, beautifully coordinated process that completely depends on healthy blood vessels.
Now, I absolutely love this analogy. Think of the arteries in the penis as small local roads, and the coronary arteries in your heart, well, those are the major highways. A disease like atherosclerosis, which is the hardening and narrowing of arteries, is a system-wide problem. But think about it, where is a traffic jam going to show up first? It's going to be on those small local roads, right? Because the penile arteries are so much smaller, they can get blocked up much sooner, making ED a super early indicator of a much bigger problem brewing on the major highways of your heart.
Okay, so let's build on that, because good blood flow is just one piece of the puzzle. A successful erection also needs a really coordinated effort from the body's nervous system and its hormonal systems. Any little disruption in this network can cause problems.
And this slide really shows you how interconnected everything is. You've got conditions that damage nerves like diabetes, multiple sclerosis, or Parkinson's disease. Those can interfere with the crucial signals coming from the brain. Then, on the hormonal side, you have issues with the thyroid or low testosterone that can play a part. But it's really important to note that low testosterone is very rarely the only cause of ED.
All right, let's shift gears and talk about factors we have a bit more direct control over, our lifestyle and medications. And this is a really big one, because it's estimated that medication side effects are responsible for about 25% of all cases of erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, as you can see here, some of the most common drugs people take can be the culprits. Blood pressure medications, especially things like beta blockers and thiazide diuretics, are very common offenders because they can actually reduce blood flow to the penis. Antidepressants, particularly SSRIs, are also high on that list because they can mess with the neurotransmitters that are involved in arousal.
And of course, our daily habits matter a lot. Smoking, as we all know, just wrecks blood vessels everywhere in the body. Obesity is a major risk factor, and it's often tied to diabetes and heart disease. Heavy alcohol use can impair nerve function. And even something that sounds healthy, like prolonged intense cycling, can actually contribute by putting constant pressure on the perineum, which can potentially harm both nerves and blood flow to the area.
Okay, now here's something you might not have heard about. The gut-penis axis. This is pretty new science, and it's absolutely fascinating. So an imbalance in your gut bacteria can lead to what's called a leaky gut, which lets toxins into your bloodstream. This kicks off body-wide inflammation, which can directly damage the super delicate inner lining of your blood vessels. And as we've already seen, healthy blood vessels are absolutely key for a healthy erection.
So far, we've talked a lot about the physical machine, but we cannot forget the powerful role of the mind. And let's be super clear here. When we talk about psychological factors, we are not saying it's all in your head. These are real, physiological responses that are triggered by your emotional state.
So let's break down this cycle, because it's a classic. A man might worry about his ability to perform, right? That causes stress. That stress then triggers the body's fight or flight response, which pulls blood away from non-essential areas, like the penis, and sends it to the muscles. This makes an erection difficult, which then, of course, reinforces that initial worry, creating this self-perpetuating loop that can be so hard to break out of.
This quote really just validates the power of that mind-body connection.
Now, while purely psychological ED is more common in younger, physically healthy guys, almost every single man who has a physical cause of ED also develops a psychological component. I mean, the stress, the loss of self-esteem, the strain on a relationship, it all feeds right back into the problem.
So, as we start to put all these pieces together, it becomes really clear that ED is rarely about just one single thing. It's a complex condition that sits right at the crossroads of everything we've talked about. It can be a warning light from your vascular system, a glitch in your nervous system's wiring, a side effect of your lifestyle or medication, or a powerful feedback loop from your own mind. And you know what? More often than not, it's a mix of all of these things. It is truly a total body issue.
So let's end where we began. Instead of looking at erectile dysfunction as a failure or something to be ashamed of, what if we see it as an important signal? It's your body talking to you. It's offering you crucial information about your heart, your blood vessels, and your overall health. And that is a conversation that's absolutely worth having with your doctor.